Greetings, you guys. So, hey, Salami, how you doing? Because my freaking, hopefully it'll work today. We shall see. But because my Wi-Fi or my stream, something has been messing up for a while now, and I'm only a few feet away from where I'm usually set up. That's why I'm not in front of my desk, which sucks because I have the whole thing set up for that reason. And plus, so y'all don't see my junky, jewelry workstation or whatever. But anyway, my name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. It looks like I might have to turn a light on because of this glare on my IG feed. But today at 5 o'clock, which is now, I am going to be doing the read of Pure Lust. Tonight at 9:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be doing readings. $11 a question, up to 3 questions per person. I will be reading from the I Ching, and I will be reading tarot. So, $1 per question, up to 3 questions per person. That's at 9:36 p.m. I am going to be doing live readings every night this week because as I have... Oh, yay. Great, Oshalami. I'm glad y'all got it. Yes. So, as I've been ranting and raving for the last 2 weeks, this week is ginormous. The ability to pull galactic jack moves is this week, hell, this month. You understand? So I wanted to be in a position to answer any questions. I've been saying to y'all for days, this week, probably more than any other week, is an opportune time to get a reading. It is an opportune time to get your Akashic records open. If you've never had your records open, or if it's been a long time since you've had your records open, I'm probably gonna get my records open on Friday. Truth be told, let my money act right, and I'm gonna get my records open on Friday because it's been a couple of years since I had my records open. The Akashic records is not a reading like your regular kind of frequently occurring reading. Akashic records, if they're good, if there are people doing the Akashic records, opening the records that are good. The average person that opens the records will tell you once every 6 months to a year. You understand? To open your records. It's powerful. It is impactful. I sent a donation for a reading early since I don't think I can catch it live. My question is there anything the mothers want me to know and focus on going into the solar eclipse? Okay. So what I'm going to do, Letitia, is I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do the reading tonight and I want to do the reading today and stay on point. I'm taking note of your question. Why don't you email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And after I end the read today of Pure Lust, I will pull a card for you and go ahead and send you a response since you won't be able to tune in tonight. Greetings, my Amy. So yeah, okay. Hopefully that works. So send me an email with the same question so I don't forget at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, and I will respond to that question as soon as we get off this live. So tune in tonight, because what I'm going to do every day this week, all the way to Sunday, is I'm going to start the reading. I'm going to have to turn on the light. I'm going to have to start a reading. I'm going to start the reading with some information pertinent to this week. Okay? Pertinent to the movement, pertinent to history, why this week is historically significant. Okay? And it's bigly historically significant this week. And I'm telling you, that's why these motherfuckers done turned up over here across seas. Nothing is by chance. Nothing is coincidence. Nothing is just a fluke. This thing that has got all of y'all attention bound up in it, and you know what I'm talking about. It's got all y'all attention bound up in it. There is a reason that it is happening this week. And just because you don't know the reason, don't mean the reason is not legitimate. This week, historically, has been radically significant. October 14th, which is the night of the morning of the eclipse, has been even more radically significant. So, get yourself a reading. Get yourself in a situation where you can be deliberate in your focus. Readings help you do that. Reading, go to your astrologer. Go get it. Go get Dafa done. Whatever your tradition, go get a reading. It don't have to be with me. Go get a reading right now, this week, today. If you have me till today, tomorrow, get a reading done so that you have a frame of reference of what to be focusing on where your energy should be, where your energy should have the most attention paid to it. You feel me? Like, don't go into this energy blind, man. Don't go into this big event. We already in it. You understand? Yesterday was the 1010 portal. Pluto station direct yesterday. Like, we in the race. We out the gate. You feel me? Get yourself squatted up. Get a reading, bare minimum. Go to a palm reader in your local neighborhood or some shit. You feel me? But get a reading today or tomorrow, before Friday the 13th, before October the 14th during this eclipse. Get yourself a reading, okay? I cannot reiterate that enough. You can also email me about details to get a more extended reading, 30 minutes or 1 hour readings. Email me at yes, Pluto Direct, get that reading. Absolutely, positively, 1000%. Email me at releaseheartcenter, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. I can give you details on how to get a comprehensive reading. If you are having health issues, which will come up, anything that's kind of like laid below the surface will have a tendency to come up this week. If you need a wellness consultation, I've got 4 degrees. You understand? A bachelor's degree in professional health sciences. Got a bachelor's degree in alternative medicine with a primary focus in Ayurveda. I've got a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And I've got an associate's degree in massage therapy with 16 certifications. So if you need a wellness consultation, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. I can talk to you about what that looks like. It is a 1 hour consultation, but I actually type up a write-up for you, very comprehensive write-up for you that will make easy how to get in front of whatever your health or wellness issues are, whether that's emotional, psychological, or physical. Okay. Just checking. Did you receive recent? Let's see. Okay. I'll check after the reading, Mon Amy. What else? So get a reading, get your juju up, whatever your juju is. Tap into your ancestors this week. Big time tap into your ancestors this week. You know, as a matter of fact, Friday the 13th is a beautiful day, a really opportune time to show up for your ancestors, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it is going to be me, this back here that you see with the moon and the eye. You can't see because of the couch, but this is my ancestral altar. The whole wall is my ancestral altar. You can see this little thing right here. This is my father's side of the shrine. So it's like, it's my ancestor pot from my father's side with my ancestors in a frame there. With my ancestor pot from my mama's side, you feel me? And then I have this big elaborate setup behind the couch that you can't see. I'm about to dismantle the whole thing, clean it down, because it's been a while since I've cleaned it down, like taken everything down, dusted it, put fresh flowers on it, like the whole squad. So I'm about to spend Friday morning, just showing love to my ancestor shrine. So yeah, this week, baby. Anyway, so I don't want to go into that too much. 9:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's late for a lot of you guys, but this week is a big week. Stay your ass up for the read. Okay, I'm gonna turn the light on really quick. See if that helped. Nope. Okay. Also, just before I forget, this week is also a really, really wonderful week to get yourself involved in any kind of like creative venture, creative hobby, creative venture. For those of you who tuned in last night, one of the people that I did a mini read for, I was telling everybody take notes for yourself because, you know, one of the things that came up was about, this week, because this week is ruled by Venus and then by Pluto, right? Pluto stationing direct in this week. So this is a really wonderful time to declutter, to feng shui your shit. You feel me? To make your external surroundings indicative and in alignment with your secret heart's desires, right? So for the person that I drew the card for, this is annoying. The person that I drew the card for, sorry about that, you guys on IG. I'm ghetto rigging this shit like crazy, and it's still not working. For the person I pulled the card for last night, you know, her question or concern was about romance, like a partner, like will a partner come into her life? And the whole thing was about, does your current environment does your current environment speak to, and is it welcoming to, is it attracting to you that what you say you desire? If you want love, is your bedroom in the condition right now where if your lover knocked on the door, you would be ready to receive them? Or are there clothes that you haven't washed all over the place or whatever? So beautify your environment. This is Venus. She likes things beautiful. She loves art. She loves wonderful music, right? So declutter your place, prepare your place to receive your wishes, whatever those are, whether it's abundance or health or wellness or lovers. You understand? Okay, then that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I'm going to read for an hour today. It's already 5:14. For those of you who are just joining or tuning in for the first time, we've been reading this book, Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly, now for a little over a week. This book is right up there with my affinity for the great cosmic mother, rediscovering the religion of the earth. Is right up there. It's like right up there. If she keep going as hard as she going, it may surpass the great cosmic mother. Now that's a hell of a statement. You feel me? But anyway, so I'm gonna pick up where we left off yesterday. Get my little dranky drink, and all right. I am annoyed, but you know what? That's what it is, I guess. I can't sit at my desk no more to do a live without it being disrupted or feed issues or whatever. But anyway, okay. So the section that we're starting on today, for those of you who have the book, I know several of you have been following on pretty religiously and have the book. We are on page 146, and the section is at the bottom of page 146, called Phallic Power of Absence. Since patriarchal male omnipresence is in reality an omni-absent, is an omni, let's see. Since patriarchal male omnipresence is in reality an omni-absence that depends upon women for its incarnations, it is totally unlike the power of presence of elemental women. And beyond God the Father, I have discussed this presence. The power of presence is the power of presence that is experienced by those who have begun to live in the new space radiates outward, attracting others. For those who are threatened, the presence of women to each other is experienced as an absence. End quote. I want to stop there. I said I wasn't going to digress too much, but let me tell you. When she's talking about the omni-absence of patriarchy and the omnipresence of nature, of elemental presence, I did a YouTube. That was a while ago, maybe 4 months ago or so, But one of the main things I don't even remember the name of it, but one of the things I talked about in it is the evidence of love. How we have grown accustomed to equating love with these ideas that really rely on us not requiring any evidence whatsoever, and that the origin of that is Christianity. Because here, this presence that you are supposed to, quote, just have faith or believe exists with absolutely, positively no evidence whatsoever of the reality of this presence, is the seed for the kind of toxic experiences of love that we have. That love hurts, that love is painful, that love is a bitch, that, right? Because we go through this suffering in the world, but Jesus loves us, but there's no evidence in the world that Jesus loves us. There's no evidence that is provided anywhere, evidentiary in the material realm, that Jesus gives a damn about our experience on earth or anything like that. And so in this same live, I was saying, but quite the contrary. As a matter of fact, I remember what the live was. The live was actually the third part of the movie review that I did for Suicide Squad. And I'm talking about this contest between the state and the enchantress who represents the mother. She's literally got the moon on her forehead and the bull of heaven, the sun god, the bull of heaven, fighting at her side. And meanwhile, she is demonstrating in real time all this power, all the evidence in the material world for these people to be on her side. She's showing proof. You feel me? She's showing evidence. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm making happen. Look at all this shit in the real world you see me making happen in real time on multiple dimensions. What more do you need? What more evidence do you need? You see, Mother Earth, it is synonymous with the relationship that we have with Mother Earth. Every single day, there are countless ways that we can show the evidence that our mother cares about our existence, cares about our life, gives a damn about our future, gives a damn about our health and wellness. We have water to drink, which is vital, a necessity. We can't live 3 days without it. You understand? Even as we are ungrateful and mistreat the water, we still have water. Billions of us still have water, right? We still have the ability to find food. We breathe free air every day. She's like, bitch, I just love y'all, and all I want is for y'all to be happy. You feel me? So this is what she's talking about here. When she's talking about patriarchal omni-absence disguised as omnipresence, when elemental women, where the presence, it is totally unlike the power of presence of elemental women. Okay, so anyway, such power is presence in individual, original, creative. Is individual or original and creative. It is participation in powers of being. In contrast to this, patriarchal power of presence is institutional power. This power requires absence of genuine individuality, of true deviance, whereas elemental female power of absence is a consequence of our presence. The patriarchal males or females' institutional presence is derived from ontological absence. It is elementary presence. When this elementary presence is not denied access to our psyches by women, when it is allowed to institute itself in the form of myths, ideologies, or emotional responses, women become its vessels, vehicles, and carriers. Pregnant with it, women perpetuate its incarnations. Damn. Vampiristic, the elementary patriarchal presence is forever fetal. Women who are preoccupied by it are not only de-energized, they are spooked. That's why your ass is exhausted and scared all the time. She said women who are preoccupied by patriarchal presence not only are de-energized, they are spooked. For this is both presence of absence and absence of presence. Phallic presence, phallic presence of absence is experienced by women as a growth of nothingness, an expansion of emptiness that fills the mind. Damn, yo. The meaninglessness. DJ Speedy, what's up, baby? The meaninglessness of male centered myths and ideologies is experienced as mental and spiritual bloat. Oh, it is stuff that packs the mind, which becomes a garbage heap of details without a focus. Oh, y'all, she is going so hard. The glut of nonsense can be experienced watching television, reading newspapers, or attending an ordinary university. It is decentralized mass without organic purpose. It expands, it expands like a tumor of the soul. Yo. It expands like a tumor of the soul. Damn. It is a paradise of images and facts that are not facts because the context is a lie. Oh, shit. The emotional responses that it elicits also preoccupy the mind, weighing it down with guilt, anxiety, and despair. Y'all ain't hearing, yo. Its victim becomes absent to herself. Phallic absence of presence is lack of content and purpose. It is negation of meaning in a conversation, lack of affection or of intelligence in a face, non-response to a question, to an act of love. Oh shit, y'all. It is the absence of soul itself. This double-edged absence has power insofar as it prevents women from being really present. It accomplishes this through the double method of deception and discouragement. Oh, God. Damn. For it is non-being that poses as presence, and that blunts the hope of discovering presence. Therefore, wanderlusters should consider further the meaning of real presence. Real presence. First of all, gnomic nags should note that real presence implies being presentient, feeling or perceiving beforehand. Damn. Come on, Letitia. Damn. Hold on, I'm about to take a note. Okay. Anyway, when a woman's consciousness is captured and filled with phallic absence, to be presentient is to be filled with foreboding about a coming ill or misfortune. Oh my God in heaven. That is to have anxiety. Oh my God. When women are present to ourselves, however, to be presentient is to be animated with hope. This presentient presence is positively powerful, for it implies that our capacity to presentiate, that is, to make or render present in place and time, to cause to be perceived or realized at present. Real presence of the self, then, which is participation in the powers of being, implies powers to realize as present our past and future selves. Damn. Agrus, sibyls, soothsayers, muses actualize and realize these powers. The primary meaning of the verb realize is, quote, to make real, change from what is imaginary or fictitious into what is actual, to bring into concrete existence, to actualize. The real presence of lusty women is realizing presence. It is active potency, power to create and to transform, to render present in place and time. The elementary omnipresence and omni-absence of philocracy obstructs elemental realizing presence. Therefore, a lusty woman who uses her labors. Does everybody know what labors are? I guess I assume that everybody does, but that might not be the case. Does everybody know what a labor is? Because she talks about it a lot. I guess I should ask y'all if y'all know what a labor is. Anybody not know what a labor is? Okay. Since nobody's responding, I'll just tell you. A labor is a double-edged axe. So when you think about like the Orisha Shango, and he's got the axe that's got the two rounded sides on it, that's a labor. Okay, for future reference, because she talks about them a lot. All right, let's see. The elementary omnipresence and omni-absence of philocracy obstructs elemental realizing presence. Therefore, a lusty woman uses her labors, her double-edged acts of exorcism and ecstasy, to extricate herself from its ghostly manifestations. These are the presence of absence and the absence of presence that frustrate her lust, distracting her from the deep telos, her purpose. The elementary presence of absence that blunts and bloats our minds with messages of unreality requires expulsion and exorcism. Elemental women expel such pseudo presence, achieving the absence of absence. By acts of daring, prudes prune away this pseudo spirit, pseudo matter. We know that exorcism traditionally means to drive out or drive away an evil spirit by adjuration, especially by use of a holy name or magic rites. As dragons and dryads, women drive away the phallic presence of absence, not by use of a holy name or noun, but by holy naming actions, ideas, symbols, feelings, that is, by naming these events in gyne ecological context. We do this in archimagical rites that include clear reasoning rooted in deep intuition and verified by direct experience. Come on through. Prudish, shrewish reason burns away the expanded vapors of nonsense, freeing the spaces that have been occupied and possessed. The elementary absence of presence that is the normal nothingness of bureaucracy, the routine rule and snooldom, is expelled through the expansion of our own reality. Is expanded by our own reality. Yet this absence is difficult to face and name. As Orwell expressed the problem in 1984, quote, the only evidence to carry contrary to carry contrary was the mute protest in your own bones. Oh, the instinctive feeling that the conditions you lived in were intolerable and that at some other time they must have been different. End quote. Since all women born and bred in the restored society that is patriarchy have spent most of our lives in conditions of overt and or subliminal states of intellectual, emotional, and sensory deprivation, it requires Amazonian acts of imagination and courage to continue feeling the mute protest and to attend to the signal of real presence. Indeed, many women coming to real consciousness can identify with the experience of Winston as described in 1984. Quote, he was a lonely ghost uttering a truth nobody would ever hear. The truth is that there are millions of women who, end quote. The truth is that there are millions of women who feel the lonely ghosts in the endless 1984 that is phallocracy. Imagining that nobody will ever hear her truth, a woman can feel the elementary absence of presence and feel helpless. Yet the fact of her feeling it is, of course, a signal of potentiality for something more. When this signal is heard, a woman has the chance to begin realizing and actualizing her own potentiality. Her realizing presence radiates to other lonely ghosts who recognize their own truth in her expression and expansion. God damn. Y'all. Yo. What have we been talking about? Today is Wednesday since Monday, since I started the readings on Monday. What did I say for a long time yesterday during the readings? That, oh yeah, and shadow work, and people make shadow work doomy and gloomy and, this laborious thing and that type of shit. But what did I say yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before that? I said that right now in this moment where all the dark moon mothers are on alert, baby, they are posted up, are challenging us to free and bring into light through courage that shit that we have kept secret in our heart, our secret heart's desires, those things that we want and desire and want to be and want to experience that we are too ashamed or too embarrassed to tell others. That what did I say? That somebody's future is there in what you keep secret. Somebody's salvation is there in what you keep secret. Somebody's liberation, baby, is there in that which you keep secret. That you have to let that shit live out loud, not just for you, but somebody is going to see a way forward because of that which you have said out loud. You have given the opportunity to live in the light. Baby, how are we just reading this right now? And she says the exact same thing. She says, when a woman heeds the signal that is heard within herself and gives it a chance to be realized and actualized in her potentiality, that in realizing presence radiates to other lonely ghosts with no voice who recognize their own truth in her expression and expansion. This presence of presence is increasingly contagious. It is ecstasy. Ecstasy is derived from the Greek existene, meaning to put out of place. Realizing presence puts and pulls wild women out of places and times of absence releasing our being, refusing false assumptions. Unassumed and unassuming elemental women are of the earth, they're earthy, together with winds, seas, trees, sands, fires, rains, thunder, moon, sun, stars. We are present, unfathered, unfettered. We are sisters and daughters of the radiant array of the elements. Presentiating ourselves, baby, the courage to sin. This the chapter I've been waiting for. Hold on, let me get my pen. This is the section I've been waiting for. This is the section that Barbara Moore references in The Great Cosmic Mother, when she talks about having the courage to sin, baby. The courage to sin. You see, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay. When prudish, shrewish women first uncover our presentient and presentiating powers, our unleashed sparking, spinning speech and action may appear to those possessed by restored reason as pixelated, that is, bemused under or seeming to be under a magic spell. Enchanted, bewitched. Ooh. Did y'all know that's what pixelated meant? I didn't. Oh, shit. In fact, the ontological presentiating powers of elemental women make us bemused, bewitched, casters of archimagical spells from our depths of being. Small wonder that we also appear to be pixie-led, that is, led astray by pixies. The term astray is derived from a Middle French word, estrayer, meaning to roam about without a master. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. Listen. Did y'all hear that? The word astray means to roam about without a master. Child. The pixie led then would seem to be moving in a promising direction. This insight is confirmed by the following definition of astray: into a wrong or mistaken way of thinking or acting, in or into error, wrong, away from a proper or desirable course of development. As women roam about without masters, breaking the rules of snoots, the statutes of studs, the decrees of drones, the canons of cocks, the precepts of prickers, we are indeed in error, wrong, wandering away from a proper, desirable course of development. We presentiate ourselves. Presentiating women, being wrong according to the prevailing assumptions, may be said to sin. It is pixelating to find that the word sin is probably etymologically akin to the Latin est, meaning she is, and that it is derived from the Indo-European root es, meaning to be. Y'all ain't heard. Did y'all hear what the meaning of freaking sin is? Y'all ain't heard. I'm gonna read that whole paragraph. It's short. Self-presentiating women being wrong according to the prevailing assumptions may be said to sin. It is pixelating to find that the word sin is probably etymologically akin to the Latin est, which means she is, huh? And that it is derived from the Indo-European root es, meaning to be, according to the American Heritage Dictionary. Clearly, our ontological courage, our courage to be, implies the courage to be wrong. Oh my God. Elemental being is sinning. It requires the courage to sin. Woo! Y'all have not heard? That's a whole word. That's a whole word. Yeah, we could do a whole sermon on that. You feel me? She said, etymologically, for us to regain to be self-presentiating, meaning us on our own terms, us on the terms that we set, us unindoctrinated, means that we will need to have courage, the courage to be, the courage the courage to be, and implies the courage to be wrong. Elemental being, reconnection with the mother. You understand? Elemental being, elemental listening, elemental hearing, elemental existence is sinning. It requires the courage to sin. Child, listen. Oh my God. Rather than confessing the creeds of cockocracy, which implies eternal confessions of guilt, lusty women sin in the most major way by being really present and presentient. This implies becoming soothsayers. As soothsayers, we presentiate, making our future be present. As we prognosticate, presage, or portend. Moreover, as we foreshow the future, we are mindful of the past. The word soothe, which means truth, like the word sin, is derived from the Indo-European root s. Ironically, so also is the word sute. As one authority has put it, sute from the Sanskrit sati means a true or virtuous wife, a term applied to a widow who immolates herself on the funeral pile of her husband. Sanskrit sati is the feminine of sant, being, existing, true, right, virtuous, present, participle of as, to be. Joseph Campbell, then, was etymologically correct when, apparently with no sense of irony, he wrote, quote, Sati is the female who really is, inasmuch as she is truly and properly a player of the female part. She is not only good and true in the ethical sense, but true and real ontologically. In her faithful death, she is at one with her own true being, end quote. Agnostic soothsayers will not forget this and other massive crimes against female being. Yes. The memory is embedded in the history of the very words we use to speak of truth and being. The courage to sin, to be elemental through and beyond the horrors of the obscene society, is precisely about being true and real ontologically, about refusing to be a player of the patriarchal female part. It is about moving away from elementary pseudo reasoning to elemental reason. To sin against the society of pseudo sublimation is to be intellectual in the most direct and daring way, claiming and trusting the deep correspondence between the structures and processes of one's own mind and the structures and processes of reality itself. To sin is to trust intuitions and the reasoning rooted in them. To sin is to come into fullness of our own powers, confronting now newly understood dimensions of the battles of principalities and powers. To sin is to move deeper into the archispheres, overcoming the ghosts of Sado sublimation, realizing elemental potency. Ooh, okay. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm. Chapter 4. See a time check. Okay. Beyond Sado sublimation, realizing elemental potency. So again, like I said at the beginning of every chapter, she has two definitions for the same idea of word. So realize, to make real, bring into concrete existence, to accomplish, to bring from potentiality into actuality, to actualize, to conceive vividly as real, be fully aware of. This is from Webster's Third New International Dictionary of the English Language. Realize, according to her definition, the authentic, elemental, wild capacity to realize. Given the conditions of the snoolish state, whose subjects are haunted by archetypes, the products of Sado subliming, and blocked by elementary incarnations, the discharges of Sado sublimation. It is inevitable that this artificial atmosphere be filled with subliminal messages intended to incapacitate on deep psychic levels. These messages are designed to prevent women from realizing our elemental potency. They are the ghostly products of Sado sublimation. Since Sado subliminal messages are omnipresent in bureaucracy, they are at first difficult to see, hear, taste, smell, and feel. It is common knowledge that they are all pervasive in modern advertising. Clearly, such messages permeate patriarchal myth. In yet more subtle ways, Sado sublimation perverts abstract thought so that this becomes an instrument for causing the thinker to be more and more absent from herself, consequently castrating her will to use her powers to act. Agnostics must now confront the phenomena of Sado sublimation as it affects reason. For moving more deeply into archispheres, we become more presentient. Living in the Gnostic present, we begin to realize the future, the past. Sinning, spinning radically, we touch the depths of elemental reason, desiring to know more. The burial of elemental reason. Among the ancient Greek philosophers, the word for deep reason was logos. Wanton women wielding this word wrench it from that context, unveiling elemental reason. Chronologically, it is clear that the breakdown of elemental reason is connected with the breakdown and cover up of female presence. Elemental awareness was still expressed by philosophers in the Middle Ages and faded noticeably into the Renaissance. It is largely absent from modern philosophy. The dying of consciousness of elemental reason among professional philosophers, or rather their attempted murder of it, coincided to a rather impressive extent with the European witch craze. To the chronological mind, it is no mere coincidence that Francis Bacon and Rene Descartes constructed sterile systems while women burned. Moreover, it is not an accident that philosophy and theology were severed from each other during this age of Holocaust. For dismemberment of wisdom logically correlates with the dismemberment of the goddess. That is ritually carried out in the dismemberment and the massacre of women. It is understandable that philosophers wanted to get out from under the queenship of theology and theologians, but much was lost in the process of escape. Obviously, I am not proposing a return to the medieval synthesis, which, of course, was itself pseudo-spiritual theory. I am suggesting, however, that that synthesis reflected dimly and distortedly an original integrity in questing wisdom, just as Mary partially and distortedly reflected the spark of the female elemental being. Although the separation of philosophy from theology had obvious positive aspects, it had negative effects which are seldom acknowledged. For one thing, this functioned to liberate philosophy from some of the personal intensity of concern which motivated the medieval theologians. Implied in this liberation is the fact that philosophy was denuded of interest in final causality, a violation comparable to lobotomy. Another misfortune accompanying the severance of philosophy from theology was the perishing of philosophical discourse about the separate intelligences, identified by Christian philosophers as angels. Post medieval Western philosophy nearly abandoned its speculation about the meaning of pure spirits, their mode of knowing, their choices, their movement, their mode of duration, and their communication. If such issues sound to the reader like appropriate subject matter for fairy tales or for science fiction, alien and perhaps entertaining but irrelevant, I suggest that the relevance of relevance be reconsidered. Fixation on superficial notions of relevance hinder the philosophical quest for creativity. Let's see. Fixation on superficial notions of relevance hinder the philosophical quest for creativity implies the seeing of connections among seemingly disseparate realities. Thus, the philosophy of angels has had power to inspire philosophical imagination, raising questions about the nature of knowledge, will, change, being in time and space, and intuitive communication. This removal from the philosophical enterprise of intuitive and imaginative reasoning about angels, which some identify as elemental spirits, is associated with the bureaucratization of philosophy. It is connected also with the philosophical discrediting and erasure of final causality, purpose, um, final purpose, and with reduction of the profound mean. Let's see, and we'll see, and with the reduction of the profound meaning of final causality, which I would describe as unfolding of being to mere reified goals and objectives. That sound familiar? The inspiring, moving reality of final causality, the centralizing focus and force within the self and within all being, is spirit force. It becomes inaccessible or out of sight when the spiritual philosophical imagination is dried up and reasoning banalized, routinized, reduced to the elementary realm. Under such conditions, elemental reason is deeply buried. The Sado subliminal message is that such reason does not exist. Paul Tillich Revisited, or Elementary, My Dear Tillich. Theologians, who did not exactly lose the final cause but merely mummified it, have never hesitated to point out the limitations of philosophy. The most rigorous, useful, and systematic among these critics was undoubtedly Paul Tillich, who noticed the materialization and fragmentation that prevails in modern philosophy, attributing this to a split between ontological and technical reason. He writes, quote, while reason in the sense of logos determines the end and only the second place the means, reason in the technical sense determines the means while accepting the ends from somewhere else. There is no danger in this situation as long as technical reason is the companion of ontological reason and reasoning. let's see. There is no danger in this situation as long as technological reason is the companion of ontological reason and reasoning is used to fulfill the demands of reason. This situation prevailed in most pre-philosophical as well as philosophical periods of human history. Although there always was the threat of reasoning might separate itself from reason. Since the middle of the 19th century, this threat has become a dominating reality. The consequence is that the ends are provided by non-rational forces, either by positive traditions or by arbitrary decisions serving the will to power. End quote. This passage is a typically Tillichian blend of important insights, confusions, and astonishing subliminal embeds. One would not wish to disagree offhand with the idea that technical reason or reasoning should receive its ends from ontological reason. But Tillich's use of language, of symbols, carries the reader to strange conclusions and confusions. Referring to technical reason as, let's see, the companion of ontological reason, he is appalled that the former has separated itself, see, herself, from the latter, rather than fulfilling his demands. Oh, oh, damn. A situation she had threatened to bring about for many centuries. Tillich thus depicts technological reason as a sort of wayward wife who refused to meet the demands of her lord and master, and finally not only threatened but actually obtained a divorce in the middle of the 19th century. Now, the middle 19th century would seem a somewhat puzzling time to specify as the date of the divorce, unless perhaps some crone ventures to point out that this was the moment of cresting of the so-called first wave of feminism. I am not saying, of course, that Tillich was thinking of any such thing. However, words, sentences, paragraphs carry meaning. Tillich's use of language conveys that he does not understand reason as having its own integrity and original unity, but rather as being a tenuous and unequal union of companions in a typical patriarchal marriage, in which the unruly wife, subordinate, has a disconcerting ability to disobey and run away. The probably unintended subliminal symbolism may at first be difficult to detect, not only because the reader may not be accustomed to look for subliminals, but also because intuition is supposedly associated with women and technology with males. However, as depicted in a servant role, technical reason is feminine. The hidden symbolism is consistent with the usual patriarchal images of battleships, tanks, spacecraft, and other vessels and tools as females who are always threatening to disobey or go berserk. Damn. Tillich thus describes a split of reason into two halves, a condition which then continually poses the problem that the subservient half will break away and become the servant of non-rational forces. Oh, damn. He fails in this context to acknowledge reason's essential unity. This bifurcated vision is consistent with the other cognitive distortions of the Sado state. In that state, for example, the elements, matter, are unnaturally separated from elemental spirit. Such assumptions of unnatural separations as natural constitute the subliminal underpinnings of enforced unnatural combinations, which naturally are called natural, such as patriarchal marriage, non-biodegradable earth-destroying chemicals, and of course, the assumed Virgin Mother Mary, the dismembered goddess patched together again. Within such a state of enforced separatism and contrived combinations, technical reason, the functionary concerned with means, that is, the wife in the saga, of course, had to do what she was perceived as threatening to do, that is, flee from her domineering mate, ontological reason, who provided her with her purposes, ends, her purposes in the first place, or her ends. One might well wonder, what are the non-rational forces which Tillich dislikes to see providing technical reason with ends? Does he refer to other male constructs, for example, the demanding agendas of the technocrats? Or does he somehow vaguely have in mind the most terrifying of non-rational forces, that is, the principalities and powers with which wild reason and wild women are connected and which exceed the comprehension of phallocentric rationality? The limitations of such elementary rationality are unwittingly displayed by Tillich in his definition and explanation of ontological reason. He states, quote, ontological reason can be defined as the structure of the mind which enables it to grasp and to shape reality, emphasis mind. From the time of Parmenides, it has been a common assumption of all philosophers that the logos, the word which grasps and shapes reality, can do so only because reality itself has a logos character. There have been wildly differing explanations of the realism between the logos structure of the grasping and shaping of self and the logos structure of grasped and shaped world. But the necessity of an explanation has been acknowledged almost unanimously, end quote. Tillich here proposes a normative grasping and shaping self. He also presents, oh, damn. He also presents what might be called the hairy claw view of ontological reason. While it is not the case that this common assumption of all philosophers of patriarchy is expressed so directly by all as by Tillich, Schroeds should perhaps be thankful that he makes this assumption so explicit. Here, indeed, is not an entirely subliminal premise of an aggressive, invasive rationality of metaphysical proportions. Schroeds also note that in the definition of ontological reason, Tillich conveys very little about the contemplative, intuitive, speculative, aesthetic activities of the mind that ineffably escape his grasp in the crucial context. Wild, elemental reality is absent from this rather lecherous scenario. Indeed, Tillich's tamed reality would appear to be hopelessly elementary. Not only this, he actually says that all this grasping and shaping is possible only because reality itself has a logos character. Having just learned what logos characters are like, the reader might conclude that reality also is obsessively grabby. But no, Tillich is thinking here in terms of bipolar opposites. Clearly, the character of reality is to be grabbed. Reality appears to be doomed to the role of the recipient of reason's unsolicited attentions. This could be seen as a scenario of blaming the victim that is carried to ontological extremes. From this vantage point, it is philosophical theological pornography. Damn, it is elementary ontology. The very intelligibility of being is reduced to the capacity to be grasped. The secret of phallic philosophy is thus unmasked. Tillich has managed to give the show away. He's managed to give the show away. Indeed, Tillich has accomplished a gargantuan task, one requiring the skills of a philosophical theologian, the reduction of reality to the elementary realm. The fire of Heraclitus is now reformulated, an impulse to grasp. In the light of this revelation, we can better understand Tillich's view on being a topic which fascinated him. Shall he quote, mythology, cosmogony, and metaphysics have asked the question of being both implicitly and explicitly, of being both implicitly and explicitly, and have tried to answer it. It is the ultimate question, although fundamentally it is the expression of a state of existence rather than a formulated question. Whenever this state is experienced and this question is asked, everything disappears in the abyss of possible non-being. Even a God would disappear if he were not being itself, if it were not being itself. End quote. Indeed, everything would disappear into the abyss if we were surrounded by a grasped and shaped world. In such a non-elemental, artifactual world, we would be constantly in a state of metaphysical shock, the shock of possible non-being. For this is the elementary world of phallic assumptions, of restoration and replacement of wild reality. The shock of recognizing this world is the shock of sham. Those who adapt to it and pass as normal remain trapped in the elementary state. Those who break under its horror are often labeled schizophrenic. Oh, damn. In a journal article published in the 1960s, typical statements of psychiatric patients are cited. For example, one is reported to have said, quote, "It's all a stage production. Everyone is acting and using stage names," end quote. Another spoke of herself as a doll and even moved like a mechanical toy. In the 1980s, in the country which elected Ronald Reagan president, it would seem that the gap between schizophrenic and normal speech and behavior is becoming less apparent. Oh, shit. Beyond numbed normality and psychotic breakdown, there is another option for presentient prudes. I suggest that this is to presentiate elemental reason by realizing its presence. This process is wildly natural. It moves us further weirdward. Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. Letitia says, I love how she's wording this chapter. A heavy, traumatic topic, but sensitively put. Yes. Realizing reason. Actually, I think that's where I'm going to stop. So tomorrow I will pick up with realizing reason. Whew. So hopefully you were fed off that reading today. I'm daily fed by it. I will be back at 9:36 Pacific Standard Time tonight for the spiritual readings. I'll be reading from the I Ching and from the Tarot. Letitia, email me right away so I can pull a card for you and answer your question. I'll do that as soon as this live is over. For those of you who are tuning in from IG, I am going to be doing every day this week a live tarot and I Ching reading at 9:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in preparation for Friday the 13th and for the solar eclipse happening on Saturday. If you are interested in a reading, tune in tonight at 9:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The questions are $11 a question. You can ask up to 3 questions per call. And then the ways to pay, I will make that known later this evening. Okay, my name is Cassandra Floyd. I'm also known as the Daughter of the Fates, and I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I will see you guys again tonight at 9:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a great night.